Hey, so guess what we're doing? We're reading the Quran, and we're on Surah 80, and it's titled Abasa, or He Frowned. Okay, and then before we get started, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Okay, verse sign number 1. The Prophet frowned and turned away, because there came to him the blind man interrupting. But what could tell thee but that perchance he might grow in spiritual understanding, or that he might receive admonition, and the teaching might profit him? As to one who regards himself as self-sufficient, to him dost thou attend. It is no blame to thee if he grow not in spiritual understanding. But as to him who came to thee striving earnestly, and with fear in his heart, of him wast thou unmindful. By no means should it be so, for it is indeed a message of instruction. Therefore, let whoso will keep it in remembrance. It is in books held greatly in honor, exalted in dignity, kept pure and holy, written by the hands of scribes, honorable and pious and just. Woe to man! What hath made him reject Allah? What made him reject? From what stuff hath he created him? From a sperm drop he hath created him, and then mouldeth him in due proportions. Then doth he make his path smooth for him. Then he causeth him to die, and putteth him in his grave. Then, when it is his will, he will raise him up again. By no means hath he fulfilled what Allah hath commanded him. Then let man look at his food, and how we provide it. You know? Cows, and if you look at a watermelon, you got so many seeds inside that watermelon. One of those seeds can create a plant. Corn, the kernels, you pop one of those in the ground, they grow. It's amazing. Tomatoes, one of my favorite vegetables. You just get one of those and they grow on their own. One time I sliced a tomato and I didn't finish a salad, so I dumped it in the compost pile. And then guess what? Over the spring, the little sprouts grew from the tomato seeds that I discarded. Yeah. You know, starvation is it's a planned thing for money. Michigan and other dairy producers were dumping their milk. They euthanized, during this virus, they euthanized 2 million chickens. It was a big deal. So they were throwing away good food while people are starving and waiting in food bank lines. And because we pay for food in that way and we don't disperse it, and it's about money versus humanity, we can forget how the Creator provided enough food for us to eat, and we let people take over the food supply. It's interesting. For that we pour forth water in abundance, and we split the earth in fragments. You know what's interesting? The tectonic plates. If you think about that on 26, the earth is fragments. Yes, there's geographical mountains that create divots and valleys, and it's like split up with continents, right? But also there's the plate tectonics underneath, which cause earthquakes and stuff. And produce therein corn and grapes and nutritious plants, and olives and dates, and enclosed gardens dense with lofty trees, and fruits and fodder for use and convenience to you and your cattle. At length, when there comes the deafening noise, that day shall a man flee from his own brother, and from his mother and his father, and from his wife and his children. Each one of them that day will have enough concern of his own to make him indifferent to others. See, that's the scariest one right there, though, is when it's the children. I don't know if I would ever... See, for me in my heart, I don't know, I am so sealed to my child that if there was a force that could terrify me enough to abandon my own sweet offspring, then it's truly terrible. It could abandon everyone else. But my child, I am like a bear. I would do anything to protect my kid. You know what I mean? Each one of them that day will have enough concern of his own to make him indifferent to others. Some faces that day will be beaming, laughing, rejoicing, and other faces that day will be dust-stained. Blackness will cover them. Such will be the rejectors of Allah, the doers of iniquity. So, some people's faces gonna light up at that time, others dust-stained. Oh. Oh. That's it. The next one is Taqwir. Okay, so this one, Abasa, or he who frowned. So, he who frowned is going to be everybody who were the rejectors of Allah and doers of iniquity, essentially. In 17, it says, woe to you, basically, and what made you reject? A lot of people would answer, people become pessimistic and nihilistic when they see a lot of suffering. I think that'd be what some people would say. They would reject it, and they see so much corruption, they become hopeless and full of despair, and they spiral downward in their consciousness. The Quran is specifically mentioning corn too when you think about it. Again, I know I've said this before, but it is quite amazing how valuable that is. You can, like just the other day, I had polenta. You can make cornbread, you make corn grits, you can just eat it. You can feed it to your cattle. That's how you get corned beef for St. Patrick's holiday. It's very interesting. Birds eat it, birds love it, chickens love it, everybody loves it. Even salmon like it. Corn-fed salmon. It's very interesting. Look at your food and see how we provided for it, and then ask yourself, why is there so much starvation in the world, and why do we let people starve to death? It's our own fault, and it's not the Creator's.